We've all been there, scrolling through YouTube looking for the perfect game to play, but there's only the popular ones that everybody has already played and talked about. What about the ones that hardly anyone has played but is so good you can spend hours on? Today I'm going over the best underrated games you need to play. For the first underrated game on this list, we have this masterpiece of a game. This game might seem like any regular Souls game, but yet it isn't. It has its own unique way of things. The boss fights are so hard but yet so rewarding when you beat them. The mechanics of the game is so good you're not going to want to stop pressing buttons. And the graphics are so good you're not going to want to even look away from your screen. This game is so fun and challenging that only if you're a real gamer then you will be able to beat this challenge and masterpiece of a game. Next we have Sleeping Dog. This game takes you to the streets of Hong Kong in an open world setting that's packed with life. If the idea of exploring a vibrant city doesn't sell you, how about singing karaoke? Or my favorite, going to the casino for some gambling. But if you want to talk about something really unique, let's talk about the combat. Sleeping Dogs has one of the most satisfying and brutal combat systems. You can smash enemies' heads through glass tables, throw them into vending machines, and the best part, the fighting is fluid and strategic. It's not about pressing buttons, it's about style. This game offers so much from intense action to relaxing side activities, and it's definitely worth checking out. Next we have Outer Wilds. If you liked Elden Ring, you're going to love this one. It's an open world game where you can explore a whole solar system. There's no set path, just like in Elden Ring. You can do things in any order you want. You can even skip ahead to the middle of the story if you like it. The best part is how much there is to discover. Puzzles, mysteries, cool planets to explore. It's super fun and will keep you playing for hours without even realizing it. Next we have Disco Asylum. And trust me, it's not like the other games we've talked about. This one's all about using your brain instead of fighting. You play as a detective who wakes up with no memory, like you don't even remember your own name. Sounds weird, right? But that's the fun part. You're trying to figure out what happened while solving a big mystery. What makes it super cool is that you get to talk to your own thoughts. It's like having a conversation with yourself. And sometimes your brain even tells you to do the craziest things. You have to decide which voice you listen to and how to solve the mystery. There's no running around fighting bad guys, but the story is really interesting. You talk to different people, make different decisions, and see how things change based on what you pick. It's like being the main character in a cool detective story. If you want to try something different, think your way through a mystery, Disco Asylum is a game you gotta check out. Next up is Road 96, and this one is super unique. It's like a road trip game but with a big twist. You're trying to escape a country that's got some pretty wild stuff going on, and the best part is, every time you play the story changes. You control different characters, each with their own story, and as you drive down this long road you make choices that affect everything around you. It's kind of like choosing your own adventure book, but in a game. One decision could change the whole path you take or how the story ends. And it's not just about driving. You meet all kinds of people along the way. Some good, some bad. And you have to decide who to trust. It's full of surprises and every playthrough feels fresh. Plus the art style and the music make it feel like you're in a movie. So if you like games with cool stories where you make decisions, Road 96 is definitely the one for you. Next up, we've got Subnautica, and if you love an adventure, this one's for you. Picture this, you're stranded on an alien island deep underwater and you've got to survive. The game's all about exploring the ocean, finding resources and building stuff to keep you alive. But here's the catch, the deeper you go, the weirder and scarier it gets. There are all kinds of creatures down there, and some of them are pretty big and not really friendly. But don't worry about that, it's not all about fighting. You can explore peaceful coral reefs, gather resources, and even build your own underwater base. It's like being a scientist, discovering new places and things while trying to figure out how to escape. So if you like exploring, building, and surviving in a mysterious underwater world, Subnautica is a game you won't want to miss. Next up is A Plague Innocence. This one's a bit different. It's got an amazing story and is all about survival. You play as a girl named Amicia and her little brother Hugo, as they try to escape an overrun world with dangerous soldiers and rats. The game is not just about fighting, it's more about sneaking around, solving puzzles, and figuring out how to survive in a world that's falling apart. And these rats, they're everywhere and they'll do anything to get to you. It's all about being smart and quiet to stay safe. What really makes it stand out is the story. It's emotional and you really feel for Amicia and Hugo as they go through all this tough stuff together. It's like you're right there with them. If you like games with a great story, a bit stealth, and some intense moments, A Plague Tale is definitely a must play.
Follow me. Wait, I'm coming. Amicia, you have to.
Next up is Shadow of Colossus. This game is something special. You're playing as a guy named Wanda and your goal is to defeat giant creatures called Colossi to save your friend. Sounds simple, right? But trust me, it's not. Each Colossus is massive, like huge. You don't just go after them and fight them like normal enemies. You've got to climb up them and find their weak spots, which makes the whole thing feel like an epic adventure. It's like kind of battling a giant puzzle. What makes it different is how quiet and peaceful it feels. There's almost no fighting except the Colossi, so the focus is on the journey, the scenery, and the story. It's simple but beautiful, and the world you explore is massive and empty, which makes each fight feel even more intense. If you like big adventures with cool bosses and a lot of emotion, Shadow of Colossus is definitely one to check out. Next up is Sifu, and let me tell you, if you like martial arts and action, this game's for you. You play as a fighter who's on a mission to get revenge, but here's the twist. You keep getting older and older every time you die. So every time you mess up, you age a little bit, but you also get stronger and more skilled. The cool part is the combat. It's fast, smooth, and super satisfying. You're throwing punches, kicks, and using weapons, but you've got to time everything perfectly, or you'll have to start over and face the consequences of getting older. The whole game is about learning from your mistakes and getting better with each try. And the fight scenes are just amazing. Plus the art style is really unique and looks awesome. So if you like tough challenges, cool fighting moves, and a bit of strategy, Sifu is definitely a game to check out. Next up is Mad Max. If you love cars, explosions, and a crazy world, this game's got it all. You play as Mad Max, a tough guy just trying to survive an apocalyptic wasteland where everything's falling apart. What makes this game awesome is the driving. You get to customize your car called the Magnum Opus and use it to take down enemies, race through the desert, and explore the open world. There's also a ton of action on foot, where you'll fight bad guys, complete missions, and try to make your way through the dangerous areas. The world is massive and feels alive with all the chaos going on. You're constantly upgrading your car, fighting for resources, and battling enemies to survive. If you're into action, cool vehicles, and an insane world where everything's about survival, Mad Max is a game you've got to check out. Next up on the list is Yakuza 0, and trust me, this one's a wild ride. You play as two characters, Kiryu and Majima, two guys in the Japanese underworld who get all caught up in all kinds of crazy drama, fights, and plot twists. It's set in the 1980s, so you get the retro feel with neon lights, cool music, and lots of over-the-top action. Now what makes Yakuza 0 super fun is the combat. It's nothing like you've ever seen. Fast, brutal, and super satisfying. You can switch fighting styles, do crazy moves, and beat up enemies in the middle of the street. Plus, there's a bunch of side stuff to do, like playing arcade games, karaoke, or even running a business. It's like a mix of serious crime and goofy mini games, which make it feel fresh. The story is awesome too. It's packed with action, but also there's these emotional moments that make you care about what happens to these characters. It's full of betrayal, loyalty, and some of the most epic fights you'll ever see. If you like open world games with a good mix of combat and story, Yakuza 0 is definitely a game you should check out. Next is Astro Bot. This game is a fun sequel from Astro's Playroom, which is one of the most fun PS5 games that is released, and this game is no different. This game is one of the best games right now. It is packed with some of your favorite characters and has fun gameplay, where you get to do whatever you like and you can also choose what part of the game you want to do. This game is like a puzzle game, fighting game, and it's also really relaxing. So if you're looking for a relaxing game to play for hours, you need to play Astro Bot. And that's the best underrated games that deserve more love, and you need to play. And if you played one of these games already, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.